You've been here before. At least, that's what your brain wants you to believe. The room feels familiar. Every sound, every face, every movement. For a few impossible seconds, it feels like you're remembering a moment that never happened. Almost everyone experiences déjà vu at least once in their life. Yet despite decades of research, scientists still can't fully explain why it happens. For centuries, people searched for impossible answers. Some believed it was proof of a past life. Others thought it was a glimpse into the future. A few even imagined it was evidence of parallel universes. But the real explanation may be even stranger, because the mystery doesn't begin somewhere out in the universe. It begins inside your own brain. Imagine walking into a place you've never visited before. Suddenly, everything feels strangely familiar, not because you've actually been there, but because your brain believes you have. The feeling lasts only a few seconds. Then it disappears, leaving behind one unsettling question. What just happened? The term déjà vu comes from French. It simply means already seen. The phrase became widely known after French philosopher Émile Boirac described the experience in the 19th century. Since then, scientists have spent more than 100 years trying to understand what causes it. Researchers estimate that between 60 and 70% of healthy people experience déjà vu at least once. Curiously, it happens most often to teenagers and young adults. But why? To answer that question, we need to look deep inside the human brain. Hidden beneath the surface lies a small structure called the hippocampus. Think of it as the librarian of your memories. Every important experience passes through this system. It helps decide what should be remembered and what should quietly disappear. Working beside it is another memory system, one responsible for something much simpler: familiarity. Normally, these systems work together perfectly. You recognize a place because you've actually been there before. You recognize a face because you've already met that person. But sometimes, for reasons scientists are still investigating, those systems briefly fall out of sync. Your familiarity system reacts first. Your memory system arrives a fraction of a second later. The result is a powerful illusion. Everything feels strangely familiar, even though you've never experienced it before. Psychologists call this a false feeling of familiarity, not a false memory, a false signal. It's the difference between remembering a book and simply feeling as though you've read it. One of the leading researchers studying this mystery is cognitive psychologist Anne M. Cleary. Her experiments suggest that your brain can recognize hidden similarities between your current surroundings and experiences you've completely forgotten. Not the memory itself, but the pattern behind it. Imagine entering a building with the same layout as a place you visited years ago. You don't consciously recognize it, but your brain notices the resemblance. For just a few seconds, that hidden familiarity rises into your awareness, and suddenly it feels as though you've lived the moment before. Could your brain simply be recognizing patterns faster than your conscious mind can understand them? The answer may be yes, and that possibility changes everything. But pattern recognition may not be the whole story. Some neuroscientists believe déjà vu begins with a tiny timing mismatch inside the brain. The same moment may be processed through two slightly different neural pathways. One signal arrives first, the other follows a fraction of a second later. To your conscious mind, the second signal feels strangely familiar. Not because you've remembered the moment, but because your brain briefly mistakes the present for the past. Another theory points toward prediction. Your brain is constantly trying to anticipate what will happen next. Every second, it compares the present with countless experiences stored in memory. It searches for patterns. It predicts outcomes. Most of the time, this happens silently. You never notice it. But sometimes, your prediction becomes so accurate that your brain briefly confuses prediction with memory. It doesn't feel like you're seeing the future. It feels like you're remembering the present. Could that be what déjà vu really is? Scientists still don't know. And that's what makes the mystery so fascinating. The human brain contains about 86 billion neurons. Every second, trillions of electrical signals race between them. With a system this complex, small timing differences are almost inevitable. For centuries, people searched for supernatural explanations, past lives, parallel universes, premonitions. They are fascinating ideas, but so far, no reliable scientific evidence supports them as an explanation for déjà vu. The strongest evidence still points toward memory, familiarity, and the remarkable way the brain processes information. Interestingly, déjà vu is usually completely normal. Most healthy people experience it at some point in their lives. It often becomes less common with age. In rare cases, however, unusually frequent déjà vu can be associated with neurological conditions such as temporal lobe epilepsy. For the vast majority of people, it's simply another reminder of how extraordinary the human brain really is. Think about that. Your brain creates your memories, interprets your senses, predicts your future, and somehow it performs all of those tasks at the same time. Every thought, every decision, every memory, every single second, the next time déjà vu happens. Don't ask yourself whether you've lived that moment before. Ask yourself something even stranger. How did your brain become so incredibly good at understanding reality? That, for just a few seconds, it couldn't tell the difference between a prediction and a memory? Maybe déjà vu isn't a glitch in reality. Maybe it's a brief glimpse into the hidden machinery of your own mind.